Yep, on it.
Okay. So while Morgan is doing that,
Hey, do I sound better?
you do sound better.
Okay, sweet.
Okay. So I wanted to after the events of last game, I wanted to have a scene with Eilish having a conversation with Paprika about how she feels about the stuff that happens. Do you think that we could do you think it makes sense to have that be our opening question? Like, how do you feel about the events of last game as well as how the quest is going so far? Or do you want to roll an opening question and then do that
I
scene
like
separately?
that question.
You
Yeah,
like
that's a
that?
good one. That's a good one. Reflection.
Okay. Um I will type it into the chat. Um how does your character feel about the events of did I put quotes around that? Yes, I did. Okay. So there, the opening question is in the chat. I'm gonna want to do mine last because I think this is a fairly substantial character question for Eilish. But who wants to go first?
I feel like it's only right for Ruta to go first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gotten out of hand. And Ruta regrets it. And I think that at some level, Ruta sees what he did wrong, but he doesn't want to admit it.
Oh, I love that. So, if somebody asked him how he feels about what happens yesterday, and obviously he doesn't want to admit it, how would he? What would he say about it?
You would avoid the subject.
Excellent. We're all sitting around sharing our feelings, and it gets to Ruta and just pass.
Ruta starts talking about 80s wrestling.
Excellent.
He can't handle that.
Okay. Reverend Byrne or Roy?
Burn, you go.
Well, I mean, obviously, we need to be operating in a way in order to, I don't know, help people. And perhaps some of this demon summoning stuff is not exactly kosher.
I think it is a useful skill, but we need to be careful about where we use it
and how.
Yeah. Okay. Roy?
Roy is concerned that the party is doing things. This is the second thing that we've done now that are extremely attention grabbing and
What was
very
the first
loud.
thing?
We are being very loud in the galaxy right now, and he is
What was the
concerned about
first?
powers that are listening. The first was Burn becoming like something
Oh, yep.
that was created from the plane of thought and brought into this reality.
Yes.
Yeah. I see.
I did
So he's-
raise, who knows how many people from the dead.
Yeah. Well, I'm counting that all as like one event. Just like
Yeah.
all
That's
of that.
part
All of
that
that stuff.
they probably noticed of it.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Roy is very concerned about our loudness right now, and the implications that could have on this group of investigators that we have looking into. My brain is blanking out on like what exactly their mission was, but I know it's something very significant that has to do with the main thread of the story.
It's
Um,
they're searching for Echo, or they're trying to find out where Echo is and
mhm.
if she's a threat.
Right,
I
right,
think
right. Okay, gotcha. That's what I thought it was, but I wasn't sure of the exact wording of it.
something like that.
So Roy is we're entering the territory of the Serenians, and he's kind of looking at it like the party is walking through a living cemetery. Like all of these people around us are going to be dead because we're being very loud and we're attracting attention.
Uh-huh.
And they are. I don't know if Roy has a thing in his mind that divides people between like innocent and guilty, but the way he sees it, they should have been uninvolved,
Right.
and we are going to get them involved.
Right. Um,
So he's being concerned dad right now.
I like that. Do you think that we should like change anything about our strategy in response? Like, do you think that it would be a good idea for us to start going in disguise?
Well, see,
I've got
I-
lots of fake mustaches if we want to start doing disguises, guys. I'm just saying.
I don't think disguise is something that Roy is really looking into right now because like the way Roy is seeing it is like it's partially due to like the actions of our party and how we're kind of just like wantonly moving through this place, but it's also like there is nothing that we can do to get off of this path.
Mm-hmm.
Like we are here. Like the loudness isn't just the actions or the events that have occurred, those two things that I was mentioning a second ago, but it's also just the fact that we are here. Um, and anything that we do, no matter how high profile or low profile, is going to attack some level of attention.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just kind of unfortunate. I don't think Roy would, because Roy is a thought. I don't think that Roy would try to like put reins on anybody that's in the party and tell them not to do a thing or not do X, Y, or Z because he's from a realm of limitless possibility. So like to a thought, picking one thing is equal to picking another thing. He just happens to have the hindsight of being wrapped in a mortal shell and seeing how cause and effect reacts to living things.
Yeah. Okay. So last one, and this can be our Eilish has kind of pulled Paprika aside and asked if she can talk for a little bit. And so Eilish, Paprika, how do you feel about how yesterday went? I'm assuming this is taking place the day after the events. So, how do you feel about that, Paprika?
I think everyone's worrying too much.
Mm.
Of course.
That
Of course.
nod. Um, do you worry about the fact that we almost got civilians involved?
Not exactly. It is bad. Like, I can see that it's bad, but if we're not doing anything, these people are going to get hurt anyways. So, like, at some point, we have to accept that there is a give and a take when it comes to heroism and what we're doing. Like,
Yeah.
is the universe less safe because of what happened yesterday? Yeah, arguably, yeah. Is the universe less safe? Like, would the universe have been more safe had we not been here? No.
Right. So I think the thing that bothered me is that I didn't even think about it. Like, sometimes it's hard for me to sometimes I don't always think things through very well. And there are some things that are like obvious to other people that I can kind of miss. And one of those is that that other people are like real, you know, and that the the actions we do to other people have actual consequences in their lives. It's probably bad that I do that, and I don't know what I could do to mitigate that, I guess. But I don't know. Maybe I just need to start being more cautious about my actions and taking more time to think them through. Eilish is like very concerned and thoughtful about this.
Yeah, Eilish seems very reflective about the event.
Mm-hmm.
Reverend Byrne puts a hand on your shoulder and says, "Don't worry, if anyone dies, we can just raise them from the dead."
Eilish legitimately looks very relieved to hear that.
That's funny because Roy had the exact opposite reaction to that. Roy's Concernicus face was turned up to 11. He looks over at Byrne and shakes his head, and he doesn't say a haiku, but he just does the one-liner, "What is dead should not return to life."
I think, well,
regardless of our ability to dead or make the dead, I think that you also need to acknowledge that maybe you're just being a little bit too hard on yourself. Like, it's great that you're reflecting and that you're thinking about it, but what does Eilish want? Like, do you think that other people stop and break their brains over, like, how you're going to feel about something that they do?
I want you to know that when you asked what does Eilish want, she got a, like, existentially terrified look in her face because
just a 1,000-yard stare.
I think this is the first time in a very long time she has thought about what she wants, and I think that's the end of the conversation because I don't think Eilish says anything again for a very long time.
Dad, I broke Eilish.
I've told you before, Paprika, these biological signifiers mean nothing to us. We are comrades, close comrades. But let us continue.
Eilish has taken to the equivalent of, yeah, Eilish is just like heavy drinking right now. I think that she quietly asks Ruda to make her a drink. But because she is an avian, she has to drink the way that birds drink, which involves a lot of just like dipping her whole face down into the bowl. Okay, that was excellent. So I think it's probably I think we probably have another night on the road before we arrive at our destination. I'm going to move. Oh, wait! Morgan has a level up. Morgan, you wanted to increase 2 skills.
Oh, yes.
Let's look at your skills. Do you know how to get to your character sheet?
Yep. Heading there.
Stats and skills. So
I've been thinking about this. I think a warfish type skill and a stealth maybe.
I think stealth makes a lot of sense. So the thing with the fighting skills is you can usually use any fighting skill in a fight. So you could use either warfare or street fighting or dueling or sniping or whatever. But there will be other contexts, like the kind of thing you are doing in the fight, that will work better or worse. One benefit is warfare will also give you like strategic insight, so
Yeah.
that might be helpful if you want to start doing some kind of like tactical analysis.
Cool.
The
I'll
other
choose
thing,
warfare. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
well, no, I was just looking through your stats and seeing if there was anything else that I'm trying to remember if there are any skills you tried doing recently that didn't work out well for you because you're untrained in them. Yeah, you already have training in charm. Okay, I think warfare and you can level up stealth to a +2 bonus.
Okay. What about intimidation? Like after all of this,
I mean, your character would certainly be good at intimidation. I think that makes a lot of sense. Would you like to take
Yeah,
that
okay.
instead of
So-
warfare?
yeah, I think stealth and intimidation.
I love that. So +2 is the highest skill bonus we can get at this point in the campaign. Once we pass the like halfway point in the campaign, which will be entirely arbitrary how we decide that, then it'll go up to +3. But I don't want anyone to get rolls that are too high until then. So stealth is at its cap for now. This is excellent. Okay, so Ruta's character is figured out. I can delete that notes button. I am moving us over to the town, or to the map called Resort Town. So I populated this earlier this afternoon. I have a handful of maps for different areas up at the top of the screen. And then the bottom of the screen has a general layout of this resort town. So I'm thinking of it very much like when you would go, if you go like skiing or something, they always have, there's usually like a hotel up there, and a handful of stores, and they're often like fairly bougie, rustic chic. So that's kind of the aesthetic I had in mind for this.
Who runs this town?
How do we want
The
to...
only answer is Master Blaster. No, I'm serious. I'm just kidding.
I don't know what that
was
means in
wondering-
context.
You don't know what that means? Come on. Mad Max 3 Beyond Thunderdome. Who runs this town?
Okay.
But no, I was, Parthenians or Serenians?
So
Or is
this
it like
town,
Jerusalem, like half and half, and they just mad at each other?
this town has I think this is a Pantherian town right on the border with the Serenians, and if there are any Serenians working there, they're working at like they are the
Service
help.
industry type places.
I mean, they're doing things like waiting tables and cleaning the hotel rooms and stuff like that. And
so
probably
this is
none
like
of them
right
live
on
in
the
this
other
region.
side of that military checkpoint that we left.
So this is a bit beyond that. We're maybe like a day's ride away from there.
Okay, so we're not quite at the border yet then.
So we are So the military checkpoint we passed was near the border, but it was not this is the actual like tunnel that you take to get from the east side of the continent to the west side, unless you want to go by boat.
Okay. I'm just trying to like put in my head like a real world equivalent. So this would be like if Tijuana was in the United States instead of Mexico.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So we arrive. What kind of we need to go through the tunnel there to get to the other side. That's information we were given, I'm pretty sure, before we left. But it's probably been a long day of driving. Do we want to stop to spend a night in a nice hotel before we head on, or are we just plowing through?
I mean, you spent all this time making this map and just blow through the place.
I have.
So we're right here, right?
I mean, I not really. I just put us there. So I was imagining we're coming from downhill, down the mountain, so we would be like behind this building, and there's a road that kind of winds up. So we're more like over here.
I think that we should. I mean, okay. Roy says, now that we have arrived in this, what appears to be an enclave of relaxation, perhaps we should go to an establishment where we can get news of the local area before we proceed further. I.e., let's go to the bar and not kill people.
All right.
Looking at you, Paprika.
Do we want to
Not Paprika, actually. Just looking at Aeneas.
Okay. So
she's a troublemaker.
here is the resort's bar and restaurant. It's on the ground floor of the resort's like hotel area. So let's drop. Ooh. Come on. I don't want to change the layer. I want to send them to back. Cool. So we head into this tavern. What do we need right now? We need some people to talk to. I will go get us a sort of bartender character and maybe a couple patrons that I can drop in. To start with, why doesn't everyone go around and tell me what you're doing, or like what kind of people you're looking for to talk to at the bar?
Roy looks around and looks at the menus on the back of the wall, and then looks at Ruta and kind of chuckles and is like, well, looks like they don't have pan-galactic gargle blasters. What will you do?
Oh, right. Did we decide this is a did we decide that this is a like dry town planet?
Oh no.
I mean, I don't know. I was just making a joke because like Ruta always gets that when we go into like a bar or a restaurant type area, and
Yeah,
now we don't.
he absolutely
He doesn't
does.
have that option.
But also
It could have something else. I mean,
we had what's his name? The because it is a diocese planet and they're, you know, religious, like I don't know if that would Adora, what do you think? No, Adora?
At a minimum, they would probably have wine.
I feel like they probably have wine. They probably have drinking like laws. Like public decency laws that are like you can drink but you can't like get drunk kind of thing.
Seems about right.
I feel like that's the kind of town this is. So let me go grab us some dudes.
Yeah, so Ruda is like, bartender, strawberry lemonade.
Where is my guy? Okay. So this is the bartender. He introduces himself as hold on. Jove Lindelsheimer.
oh Jesus.
So let me copy and paste his name, and then I want you guys to tell me how you think this name is pronounced.
I don't know, but you said a German name, so now I just see him as Christoph Waltz in Inglourious Bastards.
All right, so that's the guy's name. How would you pronounce that?
Geov Lindelsheimer.
Excellent.
You could just say Jove.
Yeah. So
Like, you know, the German word for Jupiter, the god.
yeah. So this is Jove. He says that he is the current caretaker of this establishment and he works the bar most nights. He welcomes you guys to town. He immediately recognizes that you are not patrons, and asks if you want a drink and if you need to be set up with a room or anything. He is already preparing your strawberry. Did you say it was a strawberry lemonade, Morgan?
What he said.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
right.
Yeah, he's preparing your strawberry lemonade.
Roy walks towards Jove and says, "We have been on the road for a while and require a bit of patience and privacy. If there is a corner area that we could be taken to, that would be fantastic. I would also like to know, what is your position on the Serenian population?"
I think his
Roy is blunt and direct.
yeah, absolutely. I think you ask that and his eyes bug out a little bit and then he laughs very, very hard. And he says, "Well, that is refreshing hearing somebody ask that so bluntly." Oh, I know where the power cable I'm looking for is. Sorry, I need to go get my power cable. He says it's refreshing hearing somebody put that so bluntly. I mean, I don't know why we have to have a position on people. They are, they're our neighbors. We have quite a few of them who work here. They're, I don't know how to answer that. Positive? I guess. There are several Serenians that I like, and a couple I've met who I didn't like, and I don't think that is a commentary on their race.
Roy's eyes narrow. Would you say one of your best friends is Serenian?
He chuckles and says, no, for better or worse, all of my friends are Pantherian, um, but well, all of my closest friends are, but there is Mike. Oh my God, he would not be named Mike. Um,
I mean, it could just spell it weird, like Myke.
he says, well, Mailsh, who is playing the who is providing our music for tonight, and he points over at this lizard fellow who's playing traditional music. He says, Mailsh is a fairly close friend of mine. I've never like gone over to his for dinner, but we talk, we hang out in the break room, I guess. Again, this is a really weird thing to think about, but I yeah.
Interesting. Roy leans down to Paprika and whispers to her, recall our lessons on the history of the Terran Empire circa the 19th and 20th centuries of the old calendar. And then he looks back at Jove and says, your response is adequate. We would require speaking to this musician who you've indicated, but only after we've acquired this private location, which I mentioned a moment ago. So
So
basically, I want a booth.
yeah, so he can give you a booth if you want a place that is like like has actual walls and you can be sure nobody else can hear you. You would probably have to get a room, and it might be awkward if you approach this gentleman who's playing the instrument and ask him to come up to your room with you.
That may be required later. For now, somewhere in this front area will suffice.
Okay. So so the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us all scooch into a booth, and then I guess Eilish asks, so which one of us is gonna go ask him? Not it. She puts her finger on her nose, just like she has in her sprite there.
I'll ask him. What do you want me, guys? What do you want me to ask him?
Eilish looks at Roy. We want to ask him if he could come over and talk to us after his next set. Maybe.
Yes, remember that we are looking for information regarding Fair and Full Moon, and we know that he had interactions with the Serenian Liberation Front. So we may not want to broadcast this too loudly. And he looks at Paprika. I repeat, we may not want to broadcast this too loudly.
Paprika walks over to the area of the bar where like people are gathered around to watch Mailsh, and she like kind of gets a front row center seat and plops herself down, and she just looks invested.
All right.
Okay.
Looks over at Byrne and says, nothing about this is going to go wrong, but considering that we now have a fire in the middle of the room in the shape of a paprika, would you mind being near and being the ice to that fire?
Not a problem.
So I've decided that Mailsh is up on a stage in the corner there, and Mailsh has another musician who is up there, and it's probably Mailsh is playing more like a piano kind of instrument. Maybe somewhere between like a maybe more like a keytar. I'm picturing him playing something standing up, but it's more of like a piano kind of. Are pianos considered percussion instruments?
No, they're a string instrument.
That's fucking weird.
They got strings inside.
They do. They do. Okay. Um so um yeah, I'm imagining like a kind of like a keytar except instead of very electric, it's almost more like a harp where you can there's buttons to press for the different hammers, but then you can see the strings that get
Can I
hit as you...
propose an alternative that would still go along with everything
Sure.
that you've just said?
Yeah.
A harpsichordion. So it's like a harpsichord, but it's also like an accordion.
Harpsichordion.
I don't know if this is even a real instrument. I just like putting those two words together.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, now I have to look up a harpsichord. Oh, wow. Okay, yes. Yeah, that's what we got going on. He's got a
Sweet.
harpsichordion. So he is providing the instrumental, and it is quick, and there's a lot of like bass rhythm, and in front of him, holding the microphone and singing, is a Pantherian person of ambiguous gender, who is named Rodan, although you guys do not have any reason to know that at this point. But I think that person might also come up in this scene. So, so those are our two performers. Granny and Tiny Little Baby have gone up to the counter to ask for what?
So, before we go too far, check general flaptitude. This is kind of what I have in mind for what this guy is doing. I fucking love this scene from that movie Eastern Promises.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that I'm picturing. Okay. So, where's my... Here it is. Okay. So you guys go up to the counter, and Paprika, did you say you were looking for other people who are like hanging out there?
No, I'm enraptured in the performance. Like, I am making it a point to like stare directly at Maelsh with googly eyes, like I'm his biggest fan.
Oh, okay. So are you just waiting until they finish their song and then catch them before they start the next one?
And then I'm gonna try to catch him as he's coming off stage.
Okay. Are you waiting for them to finish their song or the whole set? Because one is going to take longer than the other.
Ooh, probably the song. Paprika doesn't understand stats.
That's true. Okay, so they finish their song, and you break away from the small crowd of people at the bar to go up and talk to Maelsh. What do you say?
I think instead of going all the way up on stage, Paprika kind of like goes to the little staircase that leads up to the stage, and she stands at the bottom of it, and she's like, "Psst, hey you, Maelsh, come over here real quick, please."
Okay. Yeah, Maelsh definitely looks confused for a bit because he's probably not used to patrons knowing his name or calling him by name. So he sort of rests his harpsichordion, which hangs from a strap around his shoulder, so he can
And
keep it with him.
let's not forget that Paprika is essentially looks the same or very similar to the Pantherians. So this
Mhm.
is the equivalent of a 10-year-old white girl in a 1930s juke joint or jazz place, like watching a set like from I don't know.
I'm
Like
imagining
Duke
this
Ellington,
is
and then being like, "Hey, Duke Ellington, come here."
yeah. I'm imagining this is the kind
So
of
he's
scene that
probably
happens
both
a lot
terrified and intrigued.
in the country is called South Africa, right?
Yes.
The apartheid one. I mean, it's no longer apartheid, but
It's not really, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna pull up a couple other people.
But yeah, he's both terrified because any little thing he says or does wrong around Paprika could be very, very bad for him. But he's also intrigued because he sees her with this group of people who very clearly are off-worlders.
Yeah, and I think that he also probably I think he probably has an unusual for Serenians relationship with Pantherians, because he both has Pantherian coworkers who he works with every day. Probably a lot of whom are probably very good. They're probably a lot of his friends are Pantherian. But he also works with customers who are very entitled rich people going to a resort.
Oh yeah.
So he probably has a I've seen the best and I've seen the worst. So approaching with caution.
Yeah. I just want to say strategically, this is probably the best thing that we could possibly do. Any of us talking to him and asking him about the things that we are going to ask would probably be very, very sus. But her asking him, I don't know. I feel like that would be it would be not seen as something that's so evocative.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Zai, can you play the that guy while I gather us
Sure.
some more patrons for the bar?
Sure. Let me just think of a voice for him. What should this guy's voice be like? Because I'm like defaulting to the fucking Russian singer
Make
and Eastern
fun of
Promises.
Asterion as much as you possibly can.
Oh boy. So I gotta do a Asterion voice. Oh god damn it. Okay.
Just basically make him he's Roy, but with an actual high charisma skill. Just prose and
Yeah. No, I got it. All right. Male comes over and says, "Oh, hello, my little furry dumpling. How are you? What can I do for you?"
I'm just so excited that I finally got to see one of your songs live. I've been just bouncing around my spaceship the whole time we were on the way here, and wow, seeing you in person is so much more different than listening to it over the radio. Oh my gosh. Can I have your autograph? Actually, my dad's here. Can you come meet my dad? My dad would be super stoked to meet you too. We listen to you together all the time.
Skill check.
Oh,
Skill check.
My. Oh.
Skill check.
Skill
check.
Skill check for what?
For this lie and persuasion. Okay. So this is not this would not be charm. This would be guile, which is one of Paprika's strongest skills. So Paprika,
is this metal or negotiate?
Negotiate. So this would be a wit guile roll, which you have a +4 on, so I'm sure you're gonna do great.
Do I have advantage because of that +4?
No. That you.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh. All right. Well, that
Got
actually is very good. That gives us some stuff to work with. So on a 9,
Oh, he complies. Yes.
the subject complies to your request, or improves their attitude with you, but you have to pay a price and choose one complication. Now, the price here, just to make this work narratively without making Mailsh into a heel who's like, yeah, I'll come talk to your dad if you give me a bribe. The price can be like a narrative one that comes up later as a result of this action.
Oh yeah, I had something
Could
in
it
mind.
be a temporary injury? Or not temporary, but like, could it be an injury?
Sure.
Basically, I'm thinking that like, because he's like, sure, I'll come over. Like, Paprika gets so freaking excited that it worked that she like grabs his hand and she gets ready to drag him across the bar, and she just trips down the stage stairs and just fucking face plants.
No. Oh my god. Yeah, Eilish rushes over to Fred on her. There's
So wait, as this is before this happens, Melch responds and says, "Oh, of course, darling. I am always pleased to meet my fans. Let me just walk right over. Oh dear, oh dear. It appears this little fur baby has smashed her face into the ground.
Eilish
Is
has
that your group of
arrived
friends
over there.
Is that who we should get to collect you?
Eilish gives her a good look in the face and then goes, "She's all right," and then goes back to the table.
All right.
And then
Melch walks
Paprika,
up to the.
Paprika brings Malsh, and she's just trying to hide her face. She is super embarrassed.
Excellent.
You are killing the Malsh voice, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay. So because they didn't finish their set, Rodan will take over, just doing a solo ballad, I guess, and he probably has like a guitar type instrument he can go take from, a rack on the stage or something to do a little acoustic. Okay, so we have Mailsh.
And now, as part of our cultural exchange, you shall all be delighted to hear Nick Jazz.
And that's going on for like the next hour. All right.
I am imagining a largely a cappella jazz song. Yes, exactly.
Like it's the snake jazz, but with like scat thrown into the middle of it.
Yes. Okay.
Rodan, the scat cat.
It works. It's a pun because also he poops sometimes.
Exactly. All right. So
Okay.
Melch comes over to the booth, the corner booth area, and he looks over the group and says, "Oh my, what an impressive group of rapscallions and ruffians you have here, little fur baby. Do they all enjoy my music just as much, or did you just have me come over to be gazed upon?"
Well, come on, guys. Tell him how much you like his music. I'm sorry. They're embarrassing me. This is even worse than when I fell over there. I don't know why they're being so shy.
Oh no, it is quite fine. Well, we can go in order of the wisest, and I would assume the wisest to be those who look to be, how should I say,
Old.
the most aged like a fine wine. And he looks over towards Burn.
Burn.
So yeah, out of character real quick. We brought him over to ask him about Baron Full Moon, the Serenian Liberation Front, what is going on in this area as far as like any kind of wild
Okay.
magic. I think.
Yeah, so let's
Um,
let's agree on our questions out of character, so we can focus on playing through them once we have them figured out.
Okay.
So question number 1, it seems in poor taste to ask this guy if he knows anyone in the Serenian Liberation Front. It does
Yeah, that
it
would be
does
what
feel
Roy would do if he were being super direct, but
it does
he's not
feel a
gonna do
little
that.
bit like going up to a Middle Eastern guy and asking if he knows anyone in ISIS. Like
Yep.
it feels tactless. Okay, but one of them is we find some tactful way to ask do you know how we could get in contact with the Serenian Liberation Front? Question 2 is I heard has there been any weird magic in the area? Does that sound right?
Yeah.
So those are the first 2. Zai, you mentioned another one.
Fair and full moon.
Oh yes. So Q3. Does he recognize this man?
And so anybody can ask these questions in any way they want, and Mailsh will respond in whatever way he wants.
Okay. So I'm going to have Eilish attempt to negotiate, and she is also going to use guile because she has been roped into this farce, and I imagine it's going to go quite badly. Okay.
Hey!
Okay.
What question are you asking?
So she chats him up for a while, tries to recall what she can about like this genre of music, and goes for a while without she eases into it. And then I think she would probably start with the fair and full moon question, because of the 3 of them, that seems like the least weird one to ask. So, I do you think it's fair to say that we have like a photo of this guy or a sketch of him or something?
we've got like a digital scan or something.
Yeah.
On like
Okay.
some
So,
sort of a tablet.
yeah. So she taps on her smartwatch, and a little hologram of this guy pops up, and she says, so we're looking for a friend of ours who who's in the area, but his phone is down. So we were wondering if you've seen this man. And she shows him Fair and Full Moon.
Let me take a look at your tablet there. Oh my. He looks wiser than your friend right here. I don't think that he's come in here lately. But there was an off-worlder who came through here not too long ago. I did not talk with the man. He did not enjoy my music and was rather insulting.
Rude.
Obviously has no taste, Mailsh. You make the best music.
Thank you, Fur Dumpling.
I love his names. Okay. So was that a yes? You did recognize him?
So, Melch said he did recognize him. Fair and Full Moon was not a fan of his music. They didn't have any positive interactions or much interaction at all. But he was here at one point.
Okay, good. So well, that's good to know. I think
Rodan, I told you if you are going to twerk, you can't poop.
oh
You
no.
can't poop. No droplets. Thank you. All right, how are you all doing? Do you have any more questions for me?
Okay, so I make a note of his answer and I ask how long ago this guy was here. That stuff. Um okay, Ruda, do you want to ask him
Did you
either
want him to answer, or
Huh?
did you want him to answer?
Uh
Like how long ago or anything? Or was that like for
yes.
another
Sorry.
time?
Yes. How long ago did you see our friend Farron?
Oh my. This requires me to remember things, and
Do you
I
want me to
swear
pull
I've
up
drank
our
so much. I've drank so much recently that my memory isn't what it used to be, but I think it was, well, it was definitely before that star that I saw in the sky a few days ago came down and landed a couple of miles off, down closer to the capital city. That wouldn't have been you, darlings, would it?
Oh, I mean, we did come from space, so probably, yeah.
Interesting. Out of character. So he's telling us that Fair and Full Moon came through here before we got to the planet.
Good. Okay. Ruda, do you want to take, one of these two questions?
Hey, you, elf boy. Yes, you, Mr. Forearms over there. You look like you have a question for me.
Okay, those are your two questions.
Alright. Ruda seems drunk, but nobody knows why. And he's like slurring his words a little. He's like, "You know how we could get in contact with." Sorry, they're in. Fuck the Liberation Front.
Melch turns his head up a little bit and turns his nose to the side. He's like, oh, how is that strawberry lemonade treating you?
Pretty good.
Yeah, you enjoy that strawberry lemonade. Then he looks over at Paprika and says, why is your friend acting as though that drink has some sort of inebriate in it? It has none.
He's always like that. He just gets a little excited.
I'm starting to think maybe he has another drink in one of those forearms. So, the Serenian who do you say? The what now? I don't think I've ever heard of this group. Could you describe them maybe?
Oh, yeah, Eilish is definitely going to go into encyclopedia mode now and parrot information she has heard. So she says, oh yeah, the Serenian Liberation Front, they're all over the news. And I heard some people talking about them a while ago. They are,
You can go ahead and stop. I was playing with you. I wasn't being serious.
Oh.
Gosh. Now, you brought
Cool.
up the news. I did see something on the news recently that some of my friends were a bit interested in. There seems that there was a large demon or some sort of creature that just appeared near a military outpost not far from here. I don't think anyone lost their lives, but if they did, well, we certainly wouldn't have been told about that now, would we? Now, as I said, I do have some friends who are interested in that, but it may not be the kind of interest that you want. Out of character. The
Eilish.
SLF knows about what we did, and they are not happy about it.
Oh.
Paprika slides him a few coins across the table and she's like, consider it a tip for such a great performance. Do you think you could be a little more specific with your biggest fans?
I swear, I think this little one should be the leader of your little misfit band here.
She
Well,
probably should.
if
She's
you-
very smart.
Well, if you go to, and then he indicates some place on the map, on this map that we haven't been yet,
Okay.
and you speak to, I believe his name is Lizarance. Speak to Lizarance. He should be able to give you a little information about these people who are noting that demon attack. But again, I warn you, they are not pleased. That has brought some attention to this area that we cannot afford.
Yeah, Eilish is gonna say like, "Oh well, I'm really sorry to hear that, cause like we don't want to be a bother, but yeah, so cool, Lizards. We're gonna go to that place and ask for your friend. If hypothetically somebody knew anything about that event, they would probably feel really bad about what happened, and I think that they could probably just like explain themselves pretty well. So I think you've got nothing to worry about. She gives him a big wink.
Melsh's eyes squint and he says, and all of a sudden it's like all of the joviality and the funness has drained out of his speech, and he just says, good. Make sure it doesn't again. There will be consequences. I have to go play the rest of my set. It looks like Rodan has produced several more pellets while doing the twerking during the snake jazz, which I told him not to do, so I have to go do a little cleanup. Ta-ta.
Okay, so I think that's the last we're gonna get out of Milsh. Tragically, because this is the best character ever. I think that I'm gonna grab us a few more NPCs because of reasons. People, because I want to ask some more questions.
So I think Lizarance should be down here. Lizarance is a Serenian who is working as a valet, essentially.
Oh, in the area, I was thinking that he was like in one of the colonies. Okay, great.
No. Lizarance is right down here. He's working as a valet in this area where there's cars.
Okay.
Or a truck or something.
So before I add that guy, I still want to ask if anybody has noted any weird events in this region. Does anyone else have any questions?
For what it's worth, I kind of combined that with the question about the SLF. So if you ask if you ask Melsh about any weird magical disturbances, he will bring up the demon.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Because that was the weirdest magical
That was
disturbance
a pretty weird
recent...
magical disturbance.
Yeah, so if we... I don't know if we could ask
that
Melsh
is probably
going to
muddy the waters.
Lizarance, if we specified a weird magical event that occurred more than a week ago.
Right.
Like something that wasn't recent, something that has been occurring on a consistent basis or has occurred a long time ago.
Okay, so I'm pulling us up a sprite for Lizarance. Oh, okay, there's a few really good ones. We got this guy. We've got this guy. We've got this guy.
Where are your options going?
I haven't put them down yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think these are probably our best three. I guess I'll include this guy as well for a very different kind of flavor. Okay. Down at the left of the bar, I need the players to tell me which of these guys is Lizarance. We've got
I was
four
about
candidates.
to say, please, the orange one, please.
All right, it's the orange one.
Yep.
Okay. So, we are going to go down and check out the valet section. Everyone on board with that?
Yep. Roy's down.
So we all head over to valet. So, and this would probably be valet parking for one of the specific buildings. And let's just say it is valet parking for the hotel. Okay. What, so do we know anything about, Lizarance? I think we probably are just gonna have to ask people their names.
Yeah, I mean, we know that he is working as the valet, and we have frames with us. So that would probably be an in for us to start a conversation with him.
Oh, right. Okay. So let's go. So we head over there.
Party leaves the bar, and they see Melch pull out some sort of a communicator or phone type device and place a call while looking over and waving. So doing his best to make it look completely unrelated and that everything is cool and that he's still waving to us and happy with us.
Right.
Oh, geez.
No, damn it!
I don't see why there's any problem here. This all seems perfectly fine.
How can he betray me like this? I loved him!
You don't know he betrayed you.
Listen, I've seen enough action movies to know that if he's getting on the phone after this, he's not calling like, wow, I just met the best people. Shut up.
He's calling the
I mean,
ninjas.
he could just be giving somebody a heads up, or yeah, he could be calling the ninjas.
Okay. So, we take our frames from the parking lot outside the diner, and we head over to the valet parking at the hotel. Are we just gonna? I mean,
So we walk up to the valet. We walk up to this area where there's not just cars, but there's also frames and other things parked. And we see a person make eye contact with us. And we can assume that this is Lizarance. I mean, yes, it's this guy. But what's thrown the party off is that this person is clearly not a Serenian. This person is, it may be native to this world, but this person is more of a fish or aquatic type of person. Though he doesn't seem to be having any problem being out of water and not being anywhere near a water source. So he looks at us. He doesn't say anything or react at all. What do we do?
So I have some suspicions about what this guy's deal is in terms of physiology, but that's probably not relevant right now.
I mean, you could always ask him about it. I'll play this guy too.
No need. Because I don't think it will be relevant to our quest.
It'd also be racist.
Yeah. So, God,
I mean, we
Eilish
do
is
have
so
people in our
bad at
party with no tact,
subterfuge.
so
Okay. Eilish asked in the group chat, "Is it all right if we just talk straight with this guy and just explain who we are and why we're here?"
Roy, in response to Eilish, says, "That may be a good idea. This guy, I don't know. He's got only half of the clothing that most biological use, and he has some kind of golden insignia around his chest. I think his demeanor indicates that he could be a part of some sort of extra legal organization. Old Earth, I believe they were called gangs. I believe that is the term."
Okay.
Getting chased by a space gang now.
Well, not chased
I think-
yet.
I think Paprika would look at Roy at this point and be like, "Stop profiling."
So, okay, so
You guys are being so mean. Just let this hood goldfish live his life.
Eilish walks right up to this guy and says, "Hi, are you Lizarans? Mail said that we could talk to you. We have a couple questions and just yeah. Hi." She offers him a hand to shake. I'm Eilish.
He slowly turns towards Eilish, does not extend a hand in response to shake, and in his best attempt to make a lizard-like voice, he says, "One second. Certain theory. What's your problem?"
Well, it's just that we heard from our friend Mailsh that you might have a contact or some line of communication with this. Wait, are we in public? We're in public, right?
Yeah, we're in public, please.
Okay.
This is clearly public. I don't know what's...
Eilish leans in real close and goes. She's cupping her hand over her mouth and goes, "The Serenian Liberation Front." And then she gives him a little knowing nod.
His response is, "Guys, God, what? I'm working here. What are you trying to do to me? What is this? I just got a phone call. I just got a phone call about an old lady and a kid who's supposed to be headed over to talk to me about something on the down, and here you go using those kind of words.
Oh, would it be more convenient?
Come over here. Come into my office."
Okay. We can come back after your shift if you want. Okay, he's
You're from around here. His shift never ends. Come into my office.
okay. Okay. I gesture for everyone to follow, and I imagine that Lazarence might be a little put off by the fact that he invited one person and got 5. So
Yeah, I mean, he expected 2 people. He expected Paprika and Burn. But he wasn't really given much information about the rest of the group. So
Right.
he's just like, "Oh, okay, we got 3 more coming. Okay. This will be fun. Lizards will be able to deal with this. This will be okay."
Yeah, so Eilish is definitely doing her best cool, nonchalant impression. So we right now the only reason we want to get in touch with the SLF is to ask if they know anything about Fair and Full Moon, right? Or any like we're just trying to get information from them. We're not trying to like join the revolution or anything. Is that correct, everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone else want to? I mean, I guess Eilish will turn around and say, do any of you guys want to ask the questions, or do you want me to do it? I will. I am happy to do it. I just can't promise that I won't be bad at it. You know?
I think Burton should take the lead. Because like Bird and Paprika were one of the two people that he was basically alerted to
Mm-hmm.
by Melsh, and I don't know, I haven't heard much from Burn.
Dora, you there?
I am.
All right. You up for it?
So, what are you looking for from us?
You're asking that to Lizarence?
Mm-hmm. You seem to have an interest.
Well, Lazarus wasn't looking for anything from us. We were looking for something from Lazarus.
Yep.
Like, we're looking for further information on the SLF, Fair and Full Moon, or Wild Magic that
Yep.
has been noted in the area.
I'll start typing in questions.
So, and just to run it back, Eilish asked about the Serenian Liberation Front, basically in public, and Lizarence was just like, "What the fuck, bro? Come to my office. Don't do that out here."
So those
Sorry,
are.
I apologize for our perhaps younger and more eager compatriots. Perhaps I should let you know I'm with the church, and so we are doing investigations and making sure that there's no, potential issues of stability to the warp or things like that, and had heard rumors about these groups and are just trying to investigate them. Perhaps quieter is how we should have done it, but the church is sometimes a little louder than it needs to be.
Oh yes, the church. Much respect. Much respect is one of our preferred customers here in this part of the planet. So, what can I do for you? What this Serenian Liberation Front you mentioned, like your friend mentioned. What is your interest in them?
Yes, well, we heard some terrible rumors and are trying to find out what may or may not be true. Um, so, if there's any way that I could perhaps speak to a representative of theirs, in a diplomatic fashion, that would be an ideal way to suss out the truth of this.
Well, let's say that you're already speaking to a representative of the Serenian Liberation Front. What do you have to ask of them?
Yes. So, in the case that I would be speaking to someone in the Serenian Liberation Front, I'm curious. There have been some reports of magical events in this area, and would like the Serenian Liberation Fronts or someone who might know them, what they might say about what's been going on and what they believe it might be related to. With trying to suss out that, if all they are is just a common people's movement, wonderful. If there's something else, well, the church would like to know that.
Let's see. There was a very large demon. Yeah, there was a very large demon that was seen not too far from here, not very long ago. We don't know how it got there.
If you're referring to the one yesterday, I'm quite aware of that, and that's not in the particular issue of concern. But if there's another one you're aware of, that I would hear.
Give me a second. Let me look into my records.
Okay.
And at that, Lizarence turns around and sits down at a fishbowl-like computer and starts looking through the various bits of information. But I wanted to give a second to the party to like talk amongst themselves while he's looking through various records.
Okay, I'm gonna start by saying to Reverend Byrne that, like, okay, I recognize that I'm not one to talk, but I do feel like we are a church inquisition might be sketchier than the reality, which is that we're looking for a missing friend.
Wait, say that again? I'm sorry.
I was saying Reverend Byrne telling this guy that we are an inquisition sent by the church to root out heresy is perhaps more threatening than the reality, which is that we're looking for a missing friend.
It
Yes,
would
but no
seem
one
like that
denies
on
the
the
church.
surface, but you can see how the Serenian Liberation Front doesn't seem to be, or at least what we know of the Serenian Liberation Front doesn't seem to be too perturbed by the diocese sending down a potential Inquisition squad here. So it's either one of two things. A, the Serenian Liberation Front is cool with the diocese, which would be something very weird because, as far as I know, the Parthenians, or however you pronounce it, they were the people who were tightest with the diocese.
Yeah.
So it's either that, or he knows we're lying.
Oh, well, that's good. Wait. Okay. I'm really sorry to do this, but I have to be in character to Eilish. I think Eilish goes like, "Oh, I get it." And then she walks over to him and goes, "Sorry, just checking. Did you know that we were lying?"
Hold on.
No, it's okay. I can
Eilish,
wait.
when we get back to base, we've really got to work on your lying.
Well, you know what they say. Everything's a lie. Everything's fake news.
Not math.
That's what they say. A lot of people have told me this. I hear it from a lot of people, and they say that everything is lies. So when you guys come in here and you tell me a lie, asking about one thing, instead of reacting the way that you may expect us to react, pulling out guns, maybe shooting somebody in the middle of the main street, instead of that, what I did, the good guy that I am, is I actually found the information that you're looking for.
Oh, that is very
There's
nice.
a grave digger. There's a grave digger, and he was in a cemetery recently. And
Oh.
he was putting somebody in the ground, but something came out. And it shouldn't have came out.
That's
When these things came out, they started slithering all over the place. And the Serenians, they're okay with that kind of thing. But these slitherers, these snakes, they aren't like the Serenians. There's something different. And there's this old man who came here. He came here saying that he was going to do something about the snakes. But we haven't seen them for a long time. He went somewhere, and God knows where. God knows where. But your best bet will be to go to that cemetery and look at what he found. Look at what came out of the ground.
I see.
So you're saying there might be snakes here, and you might need a Reverend Patricia to lead them out? Is that what I'm hearing?
If that's what you
I
heard, that's
seem
what
to
I said.
I seem to recall that story a long time ago as being something.
We have to get the snakes out of Ireland. Okay. Um. Uh. Yeah, I think Eilish wants to do something to repay this guy's like honesty and kindness, and she's not 100% sure what the best way to go about that is, but I think she ends up walking up to him and saying like, "Hey, you've been like a really big help and I appreciate it. Um this is a uh this is the contact card for the Children of the Warp. Um and you're doing us a really big favor. So if you guys ever need help, like just let us
Oh,
know."
hey, what are you talking about? We're just sharing some rumors here. Just sharing some information. You were never here. We never talked. This never happened. I don't know you. You
But
don't know me. So why don't you all just walk out of my office and take your frames out of my parking lot?
do we need to move them to like a different parking lot?
I think we need to leave this whole area.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, sir, we'll leave if you want us to leave, but I do want you to know that that's a legal parking space. I don't have to move my frame. I will, but I don't have to.
Oh, okay. So we know the law now. We know the law.
Lizarence touches a button on his computer, and all of a sudden, 3 turrets drop out of the ceiling, and they're aimed at our party.
Hey, I think you should leave now. That's all I'm saying. I think you should go. Check out the cemetery. It's real interesting.
Okay, we'll check out that cemetery. Also, did you know that you have turrets installed? Because that seems dangerous. You know what?
Guys, go
You know
ahead
what? I
and leave the
trust you.
office.
You got this
Go
covered.
ahead and leave the
What
office.
turrets?
Everyone
And he
just
turns to
leave.
press another button, and as the party leaves, you hear one of them click like it's about to start firing.
Okay, we walk out.
God, I'm so glad that scene is over. That character was so hard to fucking voice. Jesus Christ.
It was so good. Thank you so much, Sai.
Such a good job.
I had water in my mouth the whole time, and I kept saying it.
I just want you guys to know that Paprika left a lot of stink bombs in the building as we were leaving.
As we walk further away from the building, we hear Lizard go, "Oh, what is this? Damn it!"
So guys, do you think we should head over there right now, or should we like get a night's rest first? I mean, I will say just personally, like, this is a resort town with like famously good like hot springs. That's the word I'm looking for. Um and it's just we've kind of been like running around from one thing to another for a really long time, and just maybe taking like half a day to relax might not be the end of the world.
Roy looks at Eilish and says, "Then again, it may be."
Oh shit. Well,
2 people have noted our presence in this region and actions that we have taken. It does not appear that our actions are seen positively by everyone. Additionally, we should pay attention to the words that Lizarence used in our discussions. He said that everything is a lie. We don't know if he told us the truth or not, but we do know a location that needs investigation. Our best course would probably be to go to that cemetery and see if there's any information available. If we don't find anything, we should probably go and camp somewhere in the countryside, not here. I have the feeling that this place looks like a resort, but underneath it's something much, much worse.
Yeah. Okay, Eilish sighs and says, "You're probably right. I mean, okay. But I'm getting that same suspicious feeling too. I totally want to check this place out when we're done." And so we can head over. I'm putting us on Branimir 3 now. Changing us to the world map.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so we have passed through Resort Town.
Mm-hmm. And we need to be getting here.
Yes. This is where we are currently. And I think that we were already interested in this point. I want to say it's because Fair and Full Moon had a note of it in his journals. So this just reinforces our suspicions. So we can start heading over there. I do not have a map planned for that yet. This feels like a good stopping point. Do you want to? Yeah, I think what we should do is next game we'll do a little like overworld travel adventure, and then end up in the town with the gravedigger. That sound good to everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, cool. And let's go see if there's any post game stuff we need to do. So I'm moving us back to the homepage. We got to check our archetype triggers. I did one at the beginning of the game, but I counted that last game because I knew I was going to do it. Open up about your passions to someone. Connect with someone about one of their secret passions. Take time to be yourself or celebrate your passions. Okay. I don't think I got any today. Does anyone see any archetype triggers they think they triggered in today's game?
I feel like the conversation that you and I had in the beginning kind of counts for having interaction that makes you feel like you belong here. Like, even though I
Yeah.
kind of pushed you into existential dread, I feel like our comfort buddies relationship went up a tick.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I would say I think that also Eilish running over and checking on her when she fell would probably contribute to that too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so that is probably it. All right, next up, do any of your characters have any injuries? I don't think, I mean, nobody got hurt.
No fighting or anything. No.
Do we need to add any new clocks? I don't think we learned about anything.
I think we need to tick the investigator doom clock.
Oh shit, yes.
Probably like 2 ticks.
Yep. Yeah, we had 2 complications earlier that I didn't stop to address because we were doing stuff, but yes, where we go? Is this under chapter 2? So let's do 2 clicks on Death of the PIs and one click on echo locates the party. Does that sound
Are the
right?
clocks? Yeah.
Huh?
Are the clocks still on the page somewhere? I
So,
don't see them. I did the UI upgrade. I'm not sure if that's why. Or...
so I have to drop them into whatever page. They're technically just sprites.
Okay.
So if you look on the home
I
page,
see them on this page.
I put down those two. Um,
I think we should tick. Oh, what was the second one that you said that we should tick?
Echo locates
Echo
the party.
located? Okay.
And
Serenian
then
Massacre.
yeah, do you think that by you know?
I think that should get 4 ticks.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, we summoned a kaiju. And
Okay.
there's chaos, and then we went to the resort town that's just resort on the surface and probably has a really bad underbelly, and we started asking about shit, and there was a singing cat pooping all over the place. There's a fish guy who turned on turrets, so yeah, there's some shit happening, and I think that these things would escalate that situation
Okay. Yeah.
significantly.
I'm gonna put it to 4 o'clock.
Cool.
Okay. And then the only other one is Fair and Full Moon's Fate, and I don't think, if we were like lollygagging, that could be affected, but I don't think that rolls forward. All right.
We move pretty fast.
Yep. So we're going
For
good
resort town.
on that. Do we need to add any new strings, experience, anything like that? Do you guys think that that guy, that NPC, is going to come up ever again?
Lizards? Or
Not
Maelstrom?
lizards.
I mean,
Maelsh?
I think both of them are going to show back up. I mean, I did voices for them, so they're going to show back up.
And let's not forget, there's always somebody else to call up.
I think that Paprika should add a string with Maelsh. That's his name, right?
Ooh.
I think so. That's what I've been calling him.
Yes, Maelsh.
But yeah, I just want to make it clear that like Melsh wasn't like, I think Paprika took it as like a big negative when she saw him like getting on the phone or whatever after we left the bar, but it wasn't a negative outcome. So like he wasn't calling his boy to be like, hey yo, shoot these motherfuckers. Like,
Just giving him a heads up. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it was totally a flash judgment on
Um
my part.
Cool.
Paprika still loves him.
So I was going to suggest that you should have a string with him called something like fake fan or something like that. But I think you have just become a legitimate fan.
Yeah, no, like
Call the
it was
string.
totally a ruse at first, but then he kept calling me fur dumpling, and I was like, "This is my favorite adult ever."
Call this string parasocial.
Ooh, that's a good string. Yes.
That's perfect. All right. So add yourself a parasocial string with Maelsh. Strings go under resources? Yeah. Oh.
I've got a few
Also,
strings.
did we level you up last time? Cuz
I don't know if Paprika's leveled at all.
so you have you are in the level up zone. So I'm going to put you back down to 1 experience and make a note that you need a level up at the beginning of next game.
Okay, cool.
All right. This was a very fun game.
Yeah, I had a blast. This was great, everyone.
Yeah, good game, y'all. I had fun.
Talk to you guys in a couple weeks.
Yep.
All right.
For sure. Talk to you then.
All right,
Bye,
y'all.
friends.
See ya.